My message to people in the workplace, in business for themselves, is take every opportunity you can when you're dealing with the outside world to Mekadesh Shem Shamayim. That's the purpose we have in life. And the most successful businessmen are usually people who hold themselves to high ethics and high standards and understand what their role in life is and how to conduct themselves to the outside world. One of my mechutanim is a very successful real estate developer. And he calls me up and he says, "You're not going to believe this story." He came into a meeting in Schenectady, New York. He has a little bit of a public storage business, and he's thinking of developing this in a much bigger way. And this particular person is a multi-billionaire that has storage facilities all over the place. He walks in the door, and the first words out of this guy's mouth, they had never met each other face to face ever, was, "Oh, you're an Orthodox rabbi?" Because he was wearing his yarmulke. He says, "I had dealings one time with 2 Orthodox rabbis, and they were men of their word. Whatever they said, they did." And he says, "That's my impression and my only exposure to Orthodox rabbis." Understand, when he says Orthodox rabbis, he means anybody with a yarmulke. They don't know the difference. And this was the person that he had met in a real estate deal, and that was the only impression he had about Orthodox Jews. And what were the words that he said? His word is a word. And because of that, my mechutin was able to do business with him because that was the impression that he had of frum Jews. Many, many years ago, we had a closing, and the title agent made me crazy throughout the transaction. One time she made me re-sign all the documents because I used the blue pen instead of a black pen. And this went on for weeks. She was just like miserable to me. At the end of the transaction, I sent her a little extra money for the closing because I didn't know what the final number would be. And then the title company at the closing, whatever you had extra, they send it back to you. The transaction ended about 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And I looked at my computer and I had $3 million extra in my bank account. This title agent that made me nuts, she made a mistake. She sent me $3 million more than I should. I called her up. Now it's about 4 o'clock and I told her what she did. The problem was it was from Chase Bank, and Chase doesn't wire after 3 o'clock. So that money was going to sit in my account for the whole night. I signed the paper to send it back the next morning, but the entire night she was texting me. At 10 in the morning, I called her and I said, "I want you to get everybody who was involved in this transaction in the room." And she said, "Why?" I said, "Just do it." It sounds like there was 5, 6 people in the room. I said, "Put me on speakerphone." Okay, she put me on speakerphone. I said, "I want you to know something. Your money is already out of our account on its way back to you. But no, it was never in jeopardy. You know why?" I said, "Because we're Orthodox Jews living in New York City. And Orthodox Jews don't take money that's not ours. Act properly. Every which way. In proper greeting others, honesty, not being petty. All these things cumulatively makes a difference. And it's going to help others. Because you never know when that person that you're going to be decent to is going to cross paths with another person."